Good morning, students. In the previous class, we studied about the lateral shift derivation. What is meant by lateral shift? And the derivation for lateral shift we have studied. And in today's class, we will study the parameters on which the lateral shift is going to be depending. So, the parameters on which the lateral shift will depend, we will study here. And then we will study about the normal shift. So, coming to this lateral shift, what is the definition for lateral shift? Definition for lateral shift is, it is nothing but what? Before once again recollecting the definition for lateral shift, let me draw the diagram for lateral shift. So, in the derivation of lateral shift, we have taken a parallel sided glass slab. Yes or no? What we have chosen? A parallel sided glass slab we have chosen, whose thickness is equal to T, and the refractive index of that glass slab is taken as N. What is the refractive index that we have chosen? N is the refractive index we have chosen. So, this is a parallel sided glass slab whose thickness is T and refractive index is N. When a light ray is incident on this parallel sided glass slab, then as it is traveling from rarer medium to the denser medium, it has to bend towards the normal. This is bending towards the normal. In the absence of glass slab, how this light ray would have traveled? In the absence of glass slab, the light ray will be traveling without any deviation. So, this is the actual path it has to follow. This is the path it has to follow. So, this is said to be the incident ray direction. But now, because of the glass slab, so the light ray is traveling from rarer medium to denser medium, therefore, it is deviated towards the normal. If this is the angle of incidence, this is the angle of refraction, and this is the deviation angle delta. Instead of going like this, it has gone like this. So, it is deviated by an angle delta. And now here the light ray is traveling from where to where? Denser medium to the rarer medium, that is from glass to air. Therefore, it has to bend away from the normal, and if you observe that emergent ray, the emergent ray is noticed parallel to the incident ray direction. This is the emergent ray, and this emergent ray is found to be parallel to the incident ray direction. Incident ray direction, yes or no? Incident ray direction. So, between these two, there is some shift. Between incident light ray direction and the emergent ray direction, there is a shift, and that shift is called as lateral shift. So, how to define this lateral shift means, it is the perpendicular distance between the emergent ray and incident ray direction. The perpendicular distance between emergent ray and incident ray direction is said to be the lateral shift, and in the yesterday's class we have obtained the expression for lateral shift as Ls is equal to T by cos r into sine of I minus r. Now, on what parameters the lateral shift is depending? Lateral shift is going to depend upon the thickness of the glass slab or the thickness of the refracting medium. More the thickness, more will be the lateral shift, less the thickness, less will be the lateral shift. Now, if you observe here, this is also depending upon what? It is depending upon I minus r parameter, that is the deviation angle. The lateral shift is depending upon the deviation angle. So, on what parameters lateral shift is going to depend? Lateral shift Ls depends on number 1, thickness of refracting medium or thickness of glass slab. Thickness of glass slab. See here, more the thickness, more will be the lateral shift. That means Ls is directly proportional to the thickness of, more will be the thickness, more will be the lateral shift. And now, what is the maximum value of lateral shift that is possible? If you see here, for I is equal to 90 degrees. I is equal to 90 means what it says? This is the angle of incidence. Yes or no? If this light ray comes like this, then I becomes 90 degrees. That means, for I is equal to 90 degrees, what we are having? Ls is equal to T by cos r into sine of 90 minus r. What is sine 90 minus r? Sine 90 minus r is nothing but cos r. Therefore, T by cos r into cos r. So cos r will get cancelled, we will have lateral shift is equal to T. This is said to be the maximum value of lateral shift. So the maximum value of lateral shift will be equal to the thickness of glass slab. What is the maximum value of lateral shift? The maximum value of lateral shift will be equal to the thickness of glass slab. That means I will draw the ray diagram here. For I is equal to 90 degrees, what is going to happen? We will see here. This is the normal line, and here the light ray is incident in this direction. This is the incident ray direction. So this angle is 90 degrees. So this is the angle of incidence, this is the normal line. The angle between incident ray and normal line is said to be the angle of incidence. If it is not exact 90, a little almost equal to 90, but less than 90 degrees, then what happens? Instead of this is the incident ray direction, this is incident ray direction. Now the refracted ray is coming like this and then emerges like this. This is the emergent ray. This is emergent ray, and this is incident ray direction. Incident ray direction. So between these two, what is the perpendicular distance? Between incident ray and the emergent ray, this is the perpendicular distance, and that perpendicular distance is said to be the lateral shift by definition. So this is called LS maximum, which is equal to what? Thickness of the glass slab. So the maximum value of lateral shift is equal to what? Thickness of glass slab. So this is angle of refraction here, this is also angle of refraction here. So this is called as for a grazing incidence. When the light ray is incident along the interface, then it is said to be grazing incidence. For a grazing incidence, for what? For grazing incidence. Grazing incidence. For grazing incidence, what is angle of incidence? I is equal to 90 degrees and lateral shift is maximum. And the maximum value of lateral shift is equal to what? Thickness of glass slab. That means we can't have a lateral shift more than the thickness of glass slab. So this is about the lateral shift dependence on the thickness of glass slab. Suppose there is a glass slab of thickness is equal to 3 millimeter and refractive index is equal to 1.5. Is it possible to have a lateral shift more than 3 millimeter? Means no. It is always less than or equal to 3 millimeter. Maximum value is equal to the thickness that is equal to 3 millimeter. Okay. Now, does the lateral shift is going to depend upon the color of the light or the wavelength of light? That means wavelength of incident light. Means yes, the lateral shift is going to depend upon the color of the light. Then if it is depending upon the color of the light, then for which color lateral shift is more and for which color lateral shift is less? This is an important theoretical question that they will be asking in the board examination. Lateral shift is more for which color is the question. Let us consider this is the glass medium, and now for this glass medium, which is also a dispersive medium means it is having the ability to split the white light into its 7 consecutive colors. Now such kind of mediums are said to be the dispersive mediums. Now let us consider a white light is incident on the glass slab at some angle of incidence. Now if you observe here, does all colors are deviated by same angles? When the white light is entering into the glass slab, then the glass slab is having the ability to split the white light into its 7 colors. Therefore, a glass can be taken as a dispersive medium. If it is a dispersive type of glass medium, then for a particular instance of angle of incidence, the white light is getting divided into 7 colors. And we know that all colors cannot travel with the same speed in the glass medium. Which color travels faster in a medium other than air or vacuum? Red color. Yes or no? More the wavelength, more will be the speed. We have discussed in the previous class, V is proportional to lambda, and as n is increase, n is more, V is less, and lambda is less. How n and lambda are related? Inversely related with each other. That means more the wavelength, refractive index will be less. Less the refractive index, deviation is also less. Deviation delta depends upon the refractive index. If you want more deviation, then refractive index must be more. More refractive index means wavelength must be less. That means which color is having a more deviation means the color having less wavelength. In the Webb-Gyr, if I consider WebGear if I choose, that is violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Among these 7 colors, which color is having the least wavelength? The least wavelength is there for violet and the wavelength is more for red. So if you move from left to right, that means violet to red, wavelength increases. So this is having less wavelength, lesser the wavelength, refractive index is more the refractive index, deviation will be more. So which color deviates more? Violet color deviates more, and which color deviates less? Red color deviates less. Refractive index is more for which color? Refractive index is more when wavelength is less. That means violet color is having more refractive index. So out of the 7 colors in white light, which color will have more refractive index? Violet color. Which color will have less refractive index? Red color. Which color deviates more? Violet color deviates more. Which color deviates less? Red color deviates less. Which color moves faster? Red color will move faster. Now, so here, if it is white light, incident at an angle of incidence is equal to some I, then does all colors deviated by the same amount? No. So which is deviated more here? Violet color is deviated more. Therefore, in the refracted beam, if you see, this is the violet color and this will be the red color. So here, the deviations are not same for both the colors. How I can measure the deviation means I can measure the deviation with respect to the incident ray direction. This is the incident ray direction. Yes or no? Now here, this emergent ray, this is this red color is emerging here. Even the violet color is also emerging here. If you see here, this is violet and this is red here. This is red and this is violet color. Let us consider. Now, these are the deviated rays. These are the deviated rays. Now, if you see here, this is incident ray direction, this is emergent ray. Now, this is a perpendicular distance between emergent violet color and incident ray direction. This is said to be the lateral shift for violet color. Whereas, this will be the lateral shift for which color? Lateral shift for which color? Red color. So if you observe here, this is more or this is more? Diagrammatically you can see that this distance is more than this distance. Therefore, lateral shift is more for violet and less for red color. Is it clear? So now tell me the answer whether the lateral shift depends upon the color of the light or not. Yes, the lateral shift is depending upon what? Color of the light. And how the lateral shift depends upon color means more the refractive index of the color, more will be the deviation for that color and more will be the lateral shift. So here violet is having more deviation, therefore lateral shift is more for violet color. So from that formula, LS is directly proportional to sine of deviation. Sine of I minus R is nothing but deviation. So lateral shift of which color is more than which color? Lateral shift of violet is greater than lateral shift for red color. Is it clear? So the color which is deviated more is which color? Violet color is deviated more and red color is deviated less. Okay, therefore lateral shift is more for violet color than the lateral shift for red color. Next, that means lateral shift is depending upon color means it is also depending upon the wavelength. It is also depending upon whom? It is also depending upon the wavelength associated with the color. So now finally what I can say means lateral shift depends upon the thickness of the glass slab or the thickness of the refracting medium, and the lateral shift depends upon the deviation angle. Lateral shift depends upon the color of the light or the pair of medium through which lateral shift is undergoing. Okay, these are the important points regarding the lateral shift. Next is about the normal shift. Okay, next is about the normal shift. We have studied about the lateral shift. Now we are going to study about the normal shift. Normal in the sense what? Almost perpendicular viewing. So now what this normal shift will say, we will study here. Let us consider this is the interface of two media. This is the interface of two media. Let me choose this is air medium and this is water medium as an example. Now for our better understanding, let me choose here there is a point illuminated object inside the denser medium, or let me choose that point object as a fish. This is the fish. Now, when you look at the fish, then this fish appears to be closure. Why the fish appears to be closure? That is because of the refraction phenomenon. Not only fish, whatever the object you are keeping inside the denser medium and we are viewing it from the rarer medium almost normally, then that object appears to be closure for us. Why this is happening, we have to discuss here. Now, when a bird in air medium looks at the fish in water medium, then for the bird, the fish appears closure. And in a reverse effect, that is when the fish is looking at the bird, which is in the rarer medium, then for the fish, the bird appears to be farther. See here, when the fish is looking the bird, bird appears to be farther. Let me choose, here there is a bird. Here there is a bird. Now, when the bird looks at the fish, fish appears closer for the bird, whereas for the fish, the bird appears to be farther. This is because of the normal shift or because of the refraction effect that we will study here. Now here, let me choose, this is the actual depth or the real depth of the fish from the surface of the water. From the surface of the water, I am choosing this is the actual depth or the real depth. Now, if this is a point illuminated object, instead of fish, if this is a point illuminated object, from point illuminated object, why it must be illuminated means, if it is not illuminated, we can't see that object. For example, you are able to see me means because I am getting illuminated by light. If I am not illuminated by light, even though I am there here, you can't visualize me or you can't see me. So, if you are able to see something means that something should be illuminated with light or it should be a self-luminous body, like the star, a self-luminous body. If it is not self-luminous and it is not illuminated with light, that means if it is not exposed to light, then we are unable to see that object. Now, let me choose a point illuminated object here. What I am choosing here, a point illuminated object I am choosing. Then, from that point illuminated object, I am considering the light rays I am choosing. O is the point illuminated object. And from this one, I am choosing a light ray which is traveling in this way. Now, this light ray is traveling along the normal line. Therefore, for normal incidence, we know that Snell's law is not applicable. Therefore, the light ray travels without any deviation. The light ray which is moving in this direction does not get deviated or it is not refracted. But if I choose one more light ray which is incident here, coming from the object and moving towards the interface, I am choosing a light ray which is coming from the object and moving towards the interface. In this case, this is the angle of incidence and this will be the angle. Here, the light ray is traveling from denser medium to the rarer medium, therefore it should bend away from the normal. Therefore, instead of going like this, this light ray will bend like this. It will move away from the normal because this is the normal line. Yes or no? So here this is water, that is denser medium, and here this is air, that is it is a rarer medium. So when a light ray travels from rarer medium to the denser medium, then the refracted ray should bend away from the normal. So this is the refracted ray. This is the refracted ray whose origin is there at O. This refracted ray is originated from which point? From the point O. Yes or no? So what I am choosing? I am choosing a point illuminated object inside the denser medium and I am viewing that object from the rarer medium. From this medium, I am viewing the object. The refracted ray actually originated from the point O, but you feel that this refracted ray is not originated from here, but you feel this is originated from which point? It is originated from this point. You feel the refracted ray is originated from which point? From this point. Let me take it as O dash. Okay, is it clear or not? That means you feel though the object is here, you feel the object is present here. So, is it shifted upward or not? So, it is not really shifted, but it is virtually shifted from the point O to O dash. So, this is your feeling. Therefore, the feelings in physics are said to be or referred to be apparent. In first year, we have studied when the object is or when a person is standing inside the lift and the lift is going up with some acceleration. he feels that his weight is increasing. When the same lift is coming down, then he feels that his weight is decreased. It is his feeling. It is the weight is either increasing or decreasing. It is his feeling. Really, the weight is neither increasing nor decreasing. Such feelings are said to be apparent. Similarly, in the first year only, Doppler effect phenomenon we have studied. While studying the Doppler effect, we have studied the definition like this. The apparent change in frequency of sound whenever there is a relative motion between the source of sound and observer is said to be the Doppler effect or the Doppler phenomenon. So, we are having a feeling of increase in frequency or a feeling of decrease in frequency whenever there is a relative motion between the source of sound and the observer. Really the frequency is changing means no, the frequency of the wave emitted by the source is always fixed, it is not changing, but it is our feeling that the frequency is either increased or decreased depending upon the relative motion between the source of sound and observer, and we are calling it as apparent. So, such feelings are referred to as apparent. So, here also actually this is the original depth. So, this is said to be the real depth or actual depth. This is the actual depth or the real depth. Let me take it as real depth, real depth. This is the real depth. And what is this? This is nothing but the apparent depth. This is the apparent depth. Let me take this real depth as some h and apparent depth as some h dash. So, h dash refers to what? Apparent depth. H dash refers to apparent depth. Apparent depth. Now, here there is a shift. The shift is upward or downward? The shift is upward. That means that the shift is towards the rarer medium or towards the observer. In the rarer medium, observer is there. So, this apparent shift in the position of the object placed in one medium and viewed normally from another medium. Normally means what? Suppose there is an aquarium here, and inside the aquarium a fish is there. I am looking at the fish like this. This is normal view. This is the normal view. But I am not drawing the normal view here. I am drawing a sideway view here. How it is true means, suppose if I draw the diagram almost normally here, then you cannot get the diagrams like this. So, we will have some confusion. In order to eradicate that confusion, I have drawn them to be well separated, but actually this is to be drawn almost normally here. Okay. For our better understanding only, we are zooming the picture here. We are enlarging the picture here. Actually, this point is here, almost here, but if it is here, I can't visualize the triangles properly. That's why for our clarity purpose only, I have drawn the refractory here, but here this is close to this normal line. Okay. So, now when we are viewing the object inside the denser medium, that means when you are looking at a fish inside an aquarium almost normally, the fish appears to be closer for us. So, here I am the observer who is in the air medium, that is who is in the rarer medium, and the fish is the object which is in the denser medium, and the fish appears closer to me. So, that means when the observer is in rarer medium and the object is in denser medium, then the object appears closer for the observer. And in the opposite case, that means when the fish is looking at me, for the fish I will appear farther. That means when observer is fish means observer is in denser medium and object is in rarer medium. In such a case, the object appears to be farther for the observer. Is it clear? Now, here this is the real depth I have taken and this is the apparent depth. Now, I will take this separation as the normal shift. It is shifted normally. So, what is the normal shift? From the diagram. From the diagram, you see here, this is angle of incidence and this is the angle of refraction. Is it clear? So, this line is like this, almost if you consider the two lines like this and one more line like this. If this is R, this must be R. Therefore, this angle being the angle of refraction, this angle must be angle of refraction R. And this being I, this must be I, because these two angles are alternative angles. These two angles are alternative angles. Is it clear? Now, from the figure, this point is chosen as O, this as O dash. Let me take it as some A and this as some B. Okay. Now, what is my objective here? My objective is to calculate the normal shift. What is the definition for normal shift? This is the normal shift. What is that normal shift? it is nothing but, is it the real shift or the apparent shift? This is not the real shift, therefore, this is the apparent shift. The apparent shift in position of whom? The apparent shift in position of object, where it is placed. This object is placed in the denser medium, or it is placed in one medium. And from where you are observing, from the other medium we are observing. How we are observing? We are observing normally. The apparent shift in position of object placed in one medium and viewed normally from another medium is said to be the normal shift. I am writing the definition for normal shift first. The apparent shift in position of object, the apparent shift in position of object, placed in one medium, apparent shift in position of object placed in one medium and viewed normally from another medium, another medium is called normal shift, and we have to show that this normal shift ns is equal to h into 1 minus 1 by n. This is the formula that we have to derive. Now, in order to derive this formula from the figure, let us understand what is normal shift. From the figure, this is the normal shift, yes or no? This is actual position of object and this is the appeared position of object. Between these two positions, the distance is nothing but the normal shift. And how to get this normal shift? This is the real depth and this is the apparent depth. Then what is the normal shift? Normal shift is simply nothing but the real depth minus apparent depth. The real depth minus apparent depth is nothing but what? The normal shift. From figure, normal shift ns is equal to real depth minus apparent depth. APP stands for apparent here. But here, what is this ns? ns is equal to real depth means what? Real depth I have chosen it as h minus h dash. But the refractive index of this medium, let me take it as refractive index of denser medium as nd and refractive index of rarer medium is nr. nd is the refractive index of denser medium and nr is the refractive index of rarer medium. Now, when I told you that, what is the Brahmastra while you are studying with the ray optics? Snell's law. So, at this point, can I apply the Snell's law or not? I can apply the Snell's law. If I apply the Snell's law, what I am going to get? So, here this is the incident ray and this is the refracted ray. This is angle of incidence and refractive index here is nd and here refractive index is nr. Angle of refraction is r. So, from Snell's law, what I can say? From Snell's law, let me take it as equation 1. Now, from Snell's law, what we are getting? nd into sin I is equal to nr into sin r. Yes or no? nd into sin I is equal to nr into sin r. So, from this one, nd into sin I. Here, I do not know sin I value, I do not know sin r value. How to get this sin I and sin r value is the question. So, for that, let me take it as equation 2 and use right angle triangles here. In this figure, how many right angle triangles we can see? If you see here, OAB is one right angle triangle and O dash AB is another right angle triangle. And I want sin I value and sin r value. Therefore, what you can do? We can take sin I is obtained using this right angle triangle and sin r is obtained using this right angle triangle. Now, from right angle triangle OAB, OAB, what is sin r? Sin r is nothing but opposite side divided by hypotenuse. What is opposite side here? AB. So, sin I is equal to opposite side divided by hypotenuse. So this implies sin I is equal to, opposite side is what here? Opposite side is AB, and the hypotenuse for this triangle is OB. Therefore, I can write it like this, OA by OB. Okay. Now, similarly, from right angle triangle, O dash AB, what I can say? O dash AB means this is O dash, this is A, and this is B. Sin R is equal to opposite side divided by hypotenuse. Therefore, what I can say? Sin R is equal to opposite side divided by hypotenuse, which implies sin R is equal to, opposite side here is how much? AB once again. AB divided by hypotenuse is how much? Hypotenuse is O dash B. Now, substituting equation 3 and equation 4 in equation 2, what we are getting? Substituting equation 3 and equation 4, equation 3 and equation 4 in equation 2, what we are having? What is equation to this? That is ND into sin I. Sin I means what? AB by OB. So therefore, ND into sin I means AB by OB. AB divided by OB is equal to, here NR is there, NR into sin R. What is sin R here? Sin R is AB divided by O dash B. Yes or no? So here this AB and this AB will cancel. This AB will cancel. And what is remained? From this one I can say that ND, bring this to this side, ND by NR is equal to OB divided by O dash B. OB divided by OB is this and O dash B is this. Yes or no? But here this is normal incidence or not? For normal incidence, the point B is close to A. If point B is close to A, for normal incidence, for normal viewing, the point B is very close to A. If B is very close to A, OB is almost equal to OA and O dash B is almost equal to OA. B close to A, this distance is nothing but, this is nothing but this, and this is nothing but this. Understood this clearly? Therefore, for normal viewing, what I can say? B is close to A. Therefore, I can say OB is approximately equal to OA, that is equal to, what is OA here? OA is nothing but real depth, that is equal to H. And O dash B is approximately equal to O dash B. O dash B is approximately equal to O dash A. O dash A. That is equal to what? What is this O dash A? O dash A is nothing but H dash. Therefore, the apparent depth H dash. Now, what I can say? Now, using this equation, ND divided by NR is equal to OB is nothing but H divided by O dash B is nothing but H dash. This is what we are getting. Take it as equation number 1. Sorry, equation 1 is taken. This is equation number 4 is over. So let me take it as equation number 5. Is it clear or not? Now, finally, what I can say here? Finally, from equation 1, write this equation 1 a little modified like this. Ns is equal to, take H common from this one, then I can write H into 1 minus H dash divided by H. So let me take it as equation number 1. Okay. Understood? Now, using equation 1 and equation 5, what I am going to get? Using equation 1 and equation 5, the last equation and the first equation, what we are getting? Normal shift ns is equal to normal shift ns is equal to what I am getting? H into 1 minus, here h dash by h I want. Already I got h by h dash. H dash by h means what? Nr by nd. Nr divided by nd. Nr by nd. This is the formula for normal shift that we are having. So what is the formula for normal shift we have? Ns is equal to h into 1 minus Nr by nd. Ns is equal to h into 1 minus Nr by nd. Or instead of saying like this, Nr is what? Refractive index of which medium? Refractive index of the rarer medium or the refractive index of observer medium. And Nd stands for what? Refractive index of the denser medium in which the object is kept. Therefore, I can call it as refractive index of the object medium. Therefore, I can more clearly write like this. Ns is equal to h into 1 minus refractive index of observer medium divided by refractive index of object medium. This is the more general form for understanding the normal shift, especially for the NEET level examinations and JEE level examination. Instead of remembering this formula, better remember this. Ns is equal to h into 1 minus refractive index of observer medium divided by refractive index of object medium. Is it clear? Understood this point clearly? Now, special case. If Nr is equal to 1, that means Nr is air medium and Nd is equal to N. That means if one of the medium is air medium, the other medium is either glass or water or something else. This medium is, you take it as glass or water or some other optical medium. But for the first medium or the observer medium, I am choosing it as the air medium. In such a case, then what I can say? Then Ns, normal shift Ns is equal to h into 1 minus Nr is equal to how much? 1 divided by N. So this is the most generally used formula while we are using the most commonly used formula while we are solving the problems at lower standards. But for higher standards of solving the problems, we have to go with this formula or with this formula. So it is the most suitable formula while we are calculating the higher level problems. Why? Because here normal shift may be positive, may be negative. How the normal shift is positive, how the normal shift is negative, we will see here. And how the normal shift is 0 also we can study. Suppose if this medium and this medium are same, will you have a normal shift? If the two mediums are same, the refraction does not take place. If the two mediums are same, the incident light ray does not bend. It will travel straight away without any deviation. Then there is no refraction, no normal shift. Is it clear? So that means if this medium and this medium are same, then this is n, this is also n, n by n is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0, normal shift is equal to 0. Normal shift 0 says that the object medium and the observer medium are the same. The object medium and observer medium are the same. Then what the positive value of normal shift says and negative value of normal shift says. See here, if here in this example, the observer is in rarer medium and object is in denser medium. In this case, what happened? So here n is greater than 1, therefore 1 by n is less than 1. 1 minus less than 1 is positive. Normal shift is positive. Once again I am repeating, in this example, observer medium is rarer medium and object medium is denser medium. Observer is in rarer medium and object is in denser medium. Then will you have the normal shift positive or will you have the normal shift negative? In this example already we got this value. So here this is air medium 1, water medium will have a refractive index more than 1. 1 by more than 1 is less than 1. This is less than 1, therefore 1 minus less than 1 is positive value or negative value. 1 minus less than 1 is positive. So Ns is positive. Ns positive says that the shift is towards the observer. So positive value of normal shift says that positive value of normal shift, important for competitive level exams. Positive value of normal shift. Normal shift says object appears closure. Object appears closure for observer. Closure for observer. And the quite opposite case is what? Negative value of normal shift. Negative value of normal shift says what? Negative value of NS says object appears what? Here it is closure, in the other case it must be farther. Negative value of normal shift says object appears farther for observer. Appears farther for observer. Farther for observer. Let us check here once again using mathematically. Observer. Let us check it mathematically. So here the fish is observer and it is observing the bird. Bird is in rarer medium. Bird is the object and fish is the observer in this case. So what is this? Fish is in which medium? Fish is in denser medium. The observer is in denser medium. Now here what I can say? Observer is in denser medium means this is n is more than this. Therefore, this by this is more than n divided by n. Then what happens? This value will be positive or more than 1. Is it clear or not? Or else you take this. You take this formula. According to this formula, ns is equal to h into 1 minus refractive index of observer medium. Observer is fish. Fish refractive index is nd divided by object is in rarer medium, then nr. In this case, what you are going to have? Nd by nr, refractive index of denser medium by refractive index of rarer medium is more than 1. 1 minus more than 1 is negative. Negative value of normal shift says that the object appears farther. Is it clear or not? That means when the fish is looking the bird appears farther. When the bird looks the fish, fish appears closer. When we look the fish inside the aquarium, it appears closer. When the fish looks at you, you appear farther for the fish. Suppose if I drop a 5 rupee coin inside water, the 5 rupee coin appears closer for us because of dash phenomenon, because of refraction phenomenon. Can you have normal shift positive value? Yes. Can we have normal shift negative value? Yes. Can we have normal shift 0 value? Yes. So normal shift may be positive, may be negative, may be 0. 0 value of normal shift says that the two media, that means the observer medium as well as the object medium, are the same. The positive value of normal shift says that object is in denser medium and observer is in rarer medium. Negative value of normal shift says that object is in a rarer medium and observer is in denser medium. So for positive value of normal shift, object appears closer. For negative value of normal shift, object appears farther. So this is about the normal shift. And one more important thing is, if you see this formula, from this formula, this is real depth and this is apparent depth. So the ratio of real depth to apparent depth is said to be the refractive index of one medium with respect to the another medium, or refractive index of the refracting medium. Refractive index of the refracting medium is equal to the ratio of real depth to apparent depth. What is the refractive index of refracting medium with respect to the other medium? It is defined as the ratio of real depth to apparent depth. Okay. In some books we will be seeing that refractive index n is equal to real depth by apparent depth. Real depth by apparent depth. So normal shift is nothing but what? Real depth minus apparent depth. And what is the formula for normal shift? Ns is equal to h into 1 minus 1 by n. Okay. Suppose based on this, we will tell you one example here. And one more thing is, the normal shift is, see, for the normal shift, the observer has to view normally. Okay. It should not be viewed at some angle like this. That means if this is the, here object is there, I should not visualize it like this. I should visualize like this. What will happen if I visualize like this? Then the normal shift is more than the previous value. Okay. If an observer observes the object at an angle more than the normal case, then what happens means the normal shift value goes on increases. That means it appears much closer for the interface. Understood this point clearly? So this is about the normal shift phenomenon, And normal shift depends on what? Normal shift depends upon what? The thickness of the refracting medium, that is H. Normal shift depends upon the refractive index of the observer medium as well as the object medium, and the normal shift also depends upon the color of the light. It is depending upon refractive index means it is also depending upon the color. Why? Because refractive index n is inversely related with the wavelength, that is the color. Therefore, normal shift depends on dash parameters. Normal shift depends upon the thickness of refracting medium. It depends upon the refractive index of the observer medium as well as the object medium. It depends upon the color of the light. Then for which color normal shift is more? For which color normal shift is more is the question. Have you understood about this normal shift? So normal shift, how we are defining? Normal shift is defined like this. The apparent shift in the position of object, the apparent shift in position of object placed in one medium and viewed normally from another medium is said to be the normal shift. And the formula for normal shift is Ns is equal to H into 1 minus refractive index of observer medium divided by refractive index of object medium. While we are doing simple problems, Ns is taken as H into 1 minus 1 by n. Is it clear? And normal shift depends on what parameters? Normal shift depends upon the thickness of the refracting medium, that is H. It depends upon the refractive indexes of observer medium as well as the object medium, and it also depends upon the color of light. This is about the normal shift. The only thing while we are deriving this normal shift formula is we have to go with the Snell's law. And from Snell's law, we have to find out the sin I value and sin R value. In order to get the value of sin I and sin R, we have to take the help of the geometry, that is right angle triangles that can be seen in the diagram. But one thing we must be careful is, for normal viewing, the point B is close to A. As B is close to A, OB is nothing but OA and O dash B is nothing but O dash A. Okay, this is what we need to remember. Next is about the examples based on the normal shift. Okay, so here the normal shift is more for which color is the question. Normal shift is more for which color? To understand that, let me take a white paper here. On the white paper, I have written some letters. Let us consider I have written a name called Mokshit, Mokshit. I have written Mokshit here. Mokshit. How many letters are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 letters I have written. How I have written these 7 letters on the white paper means, I have written the first letter with the violet color like this, violet, and the last color is with the red color. That means I have written with Vibgyor colors: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. I have used 7 different colors to write 7 different letters in the name Mokshit. So first letter is written with the color violet, and last one with red, O with indigo, K with blue, S with green, H with yellow, and I with O, orange. Now over this, after writing this, what I did is I have placed a glass slab like this. I have placed a glass slab over it. Like this I have placed a glass slab whose thickness is equal to some T. Now, does all the letters in this name appears to be at same depth is the question. You are viewing normally from this side. When we are viewing normally like this. So this is the paper on which I have written the name, and here I have taken a glass slab and I am viewing it like this. Then which letter appears closer is the question here. Normal shift is more for which color means, I know the formula for normal shift. Ns is equal to H into 1 minus 1 by n. Yes or no? Here n greater means, n increases means 1 by n decreases. 1 by n decreases means 1 minus 1 by n increases. 1 minus 1 by n increases. Because this value decreases, this value, total value increases. This implies this increases means Ns also increases. Sorry, Ns also increases. So finally, what is the relation between these two? Refractive index more means normal shift is more. But which color will have more refractive index? Refractive index and wavelength, how they are related? Inversely related with each other. That means less the wavelength, more refractive index. More refractive index, normal shift is more. Here, from this and this, what I can say, less the wavelength, normal shift is more. Which color of light is having lesser wavelength? This color, wavelength of violet color is less than wavelength of red color. Therefore, what I can say, less the wavelength, more normal shift means M letter will be shifted more compared with the T letter. Therefore, when you look from the glass slab, it is observed in this way. So this letter appears to be more closer compared with the other letters. This is how we can observe like this it is seen. That means which color is shifted more? This color is shifted more and this is shifted less. That means violet color is shifted more. That means normal shift is more for which color? Violet color, and normal shift is less for which color? Red color. Not only normal shift, even we studied in the previous class, that is lateral shift is more for which color? Violet color. So violet color deviates more, violet color will have more lateral shift, violet color will have more normal shift. Okay. And refractive index for violet color will be, refractive index is less the wavelength, more will be the refractive index. Refractive index is more for violet color, refractive index is N is more for violet, refractive index is more for violet, deviation is more for violet, lateral shift is more for violet, normal shift is more for violet. So these are the different things that are more for the violet color. So violet will have more refractive index, violet color deviates more, violet color will have more lateral shift, violet color will have more normal shift. But which color will have more speed? Red color will have more speed. Which color will have more speed? Red color will have more speed. This is about the dependence of normal shift on the color of light. So normal shift depends upon the thickness of the refracting medium, and it also depends upon the refractive indices of the two media, as well as it depends upon the color of the light. And one more thing is, normal shift does not depend upon the location of the refracting medium. That means whether the glass slab is placed like this, or the glass slab is placed here, or it is placed close to your eye. So it depends upon the thickness of this glass slab, but does not depend upon where the glass slab is situated. Okay, whether the glass slab is situated on the object, or when the glass slab is kept near to your eye, or when the glass slab is somewhere in between your eye and the object. It is not depending. That means normal shift is independent of location of the refracting medium where we are keeping. It depends upon only on the thickness of the refracting medium, but not on the location. So this is about the normal shift. And next is about the critical angle. See, total internal reflection and applications of total internal reflection we'll study. Okay. Next is about the critical angle, total internal reflection, and the applications of total internal reflection. Now coming to the first one, that is critical angle, which is one of the important one that we have to study here. Now let us consider there is an interface here which is separating the two optical media. Now this is a rarer medium and this is a denser medium. How many mediums I have chosen? Two mediums I have chosen, and this is an interface of two media. Now here let me choose the refractive index of denser medium as Nd, whereas the refractive index of rarer medium is N suffix R. Now inside the denser medium, let me choose a point illuminated object. What I have chosen? A point illuminated object is chosen in which medium? Inside the denser medium. From this point illuminated object, light rays will travel in all directions like this, but I will choose the light rays which are traveling towards the interface. I am not concentrating on all the light rays, but I am concentrating on the light rays moving towards the interface only. Now, what is going to happen here? Let me choose, this is the point illuminated object O. From this object O, I will choose the light ray which is incident normally on the interface. A light ray which is incident normally on the interface will travel without any deviation. Without any deviation, it will travel straight away. Because for normal incidents, dash law is not applicable. For normal incidents, Snell's law is not applicable. That means the light ray does not undergo refraction. Normal incidence means angle of incidence is equal to 0 and angle of refraction is also equal to 0. And we already studied that from Snell's law, with increase in angle of incidence, angle of refraction also increases. Now let me choose a light ray which is incident here, coming from O and incident on the interface at this point, name it as A. Now this is the angle of incidence, let me take it as I1. Now the light ray is traveling from which medium to which medium? Denser to rarer, therefore it should bend away from the normal. Instead of going like this, it has to go like this. Therefore, it will bend away from the normal like this. This is the angle of refraction R1. Now, let me choose another light ray which is incident here, which is incident at this point, originated from the same point O, but moving towards the interface and incident on the interface at the point B. Now, this angle I2, if you see, compared with this angle is more. Therefore, this I2 is greater than I1. As the angle of incidence is increased, the angle of refraction must also increase. Therefore, as this light ray is coming like this, this has to go down like this. Therefore, this will go in this way. So, this is the angle of refraction R2 which is greater than R1. Now, I will choose one more light ray which is incident here. One more light ray which is incident here, originated from the point O and moving towards the interface. But in this case, I will consider this angle as I. For this angle of incidence, we are choosing that the refracted ray is grazing the interface. That means it is going like this. So, with increase in angle of incidence, what is happening? The refracted ray is bending like this. Finally, the refracted ray is grazing the interface for a particular angle of incidence. This is the refracted ray. So, what is this angle of refraction now? Angle of refraction is equal to 90 degrees. Now, with increase, as the light ray is traveling from denser medium to rarer medium, there exists a particular angle of incidence for which the angle of refraction is equal to 90 degrees. Okay. Now, if you further increase the angle of incidence, what is going to happen? If you further increase the angle of incidence, what is going to happen? This light ray cannot refract furthermore, therefore it has to come back into the same medium. That means the light ray is totally reflected into the same medium. So, this is the angle of incidence for which this is greater than I. For this I3 greater than I, the light ray is reflected into the same medium. So, it is totally reflected into the same medium. Now, this particular angle of incidence, for which the angle of refraction is 90 degrees is said to be the critical angle. This is the boundary line or the interface, and this and this are the light rays which are there above this interface, and this is the light ray which is below the interface, whereas this is the light ray which is along the interface. Critical case. In the critical case, the refracted ray is along the interface or it is grazing the interface. If you see these two are the refracted rays above the interface, and this is the reflected ray below the interface, and this is the ray which is grazing the interface. Now, therefore, this is nothing but the critical case. Okay, critical case means it is intermediate case of the two different phenomenon. So here, this is what? This is the angle of incidence. But for this angle of incidence, what is angle of refraction? The angle of refraction is 90 degrees. When does this happen? This happened when light is traveling from denser medium to the rarer medium. When a light ray is traveling from denser medium to the rarer medium, then the angle of incidence for which the angle of refraction is equal to 90 degrees is said to be the critical angle. Then what is a critical angle? Is it an angle of incidence or is it an angle of refraction? Critical angle is the angle of incidence. Does all angle of incidences are critical angles? No. This is not, this is angle of incidence, this is angle of incidence, this is angle of incidence. But these are not critical angles, only this is critical angle. That means all angle of incidences are not critical angles, but critical angle is an angle of incidence. Is it clear? So, what is the definition for a critical angle? When a light ray travels from denser medium to the rarer medium, then the angle of incidence for which the angle of refraction is equal to 90 degrees is said to be the critical angle, or otherwise in another way you can define it like this. When a light ray is traveling from denser medium to rarer medium, then the angle of incidence for which the refracted ray is grazing the interface. The refracted ray is grazing the interface is said to be the critical angle. I am writing the definition for this critical angle here. What is critical angle? Critical angle indicated with the letter C. When a light ray travels from, when light ray travels from denser medium to the rarer medium, denser medium to the rarer medium, the angle of incidence for which the angle of refraction is 90 degrees. The angle of refraction is 90 degrees is said to be critical angle. Now, as in this chapter we are able to use the Snell's law, let me apply the Snell's law for the interface at this point C. Let me apply the Snell's law. Applying Snell's law, what we are having? Applying Snell's law for a critical case. What we are having? The refractive index of this medium is Nd, and the refractive index of this medium is Nr. So, Nd into sin C is equal to R. Nd into sin I is equal to Nr into sin R. Yes or no? This refractive index into this sin angle is equal to this refractive index into this sin angle. Therefore, Nd into sin I is equal to Nr into sin R. Nr into sin R. But for I is equal to C, that means when angle of incidence is equal to critical angle, R is equal to 90 degrees. Therefore, Nd into sin C is equal to Nr into sin 90 degrees. This implies Nd into sin C is equal to Nr into sin 90 is 1. This implies sin C is equal to Nr divided by Nd, or else C is equal to sin inverse of Nr by Nd. C is equal to sin inverse of Nr by Nd. This is an important one for CET 2 board level exams, or in JEE exams and NEET exams. This is an important formula. What is the critical angle formula? Critical angle C is equal to sin inverse of Nr by Nd. Critical angle C is equal to what? Sin inverse of Nr by Nd. Special case, if this is taken as air medium and this is a medium whose refractive index is N, then what we are having? For Nr is equal to 1 and Nd is equal to N, that means this medium is, rarer medium is taken as air medium and the denser medium is a medium whose refractive index is N. That means this is air, this might be water, this might be glass, or this might be any other optical medium. Then what we are having? C is equal to sin inverse of Nr by Nd implies C is equal to sin inverse of 1 by N. Nr is equal to 1, Nd is equal to N. So, this is most commonly used formula. C is equal to sin inverse of 1 by N. So from this formula what I can say, n value decreases, 1 by n value increases, then 1 by n increases, this value increases, critical angle increases. From these two what I can say, less the refractive index, more critical angle, or else n is decreasing means wavelength is increasing. So take this and this into consideration. Then what we are having? More wavelength, more critical angle. So which color is having more critical angle? Among the 7 colors, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red, which color is going to have more critical angle? Critical angle is more for the color having more wavelength. Which color will have more wavelength? Red is having the more wavelength, therefore critical angle is more for red color, and critical angle is least for violet color. Is it clear? So regarding the questions related with colors, what we are having means, first one, refractive index is more for which color? Violet. Lateral shift is more for which color? Violet. And normal shift is more for which color? Violet. And which color deviates more? Violet. Which color will have more critical angle? Red color. Which color travels faster? Red color. Is it clear? So this is about the critical angle case. And if you see here, C is equal sine inverse of 1 by n is the basic formula that we are using, or more clearly it is better to use C is equal sine inverse of NR by ND, where NR refers to the refractive index of rarer medium and ND refers to the refractive index of denser medium. And one more thing regarding this critical angle case is, what are the conditions for observing the critical angle? Means the light ray must and should travel from which medium to which medium? It must and should travel from denser medium to the rarer medium. In order to explain the critical angle, light ray must and should travel from denser medium to the rarer medium. Then the angle of incidence for which the refraction angle is equal to 90 degrees is said to be the critical angle. Understood this point clearly? And based on this, they will be asking the problems in 2-mark questions. Suppose the critical angle is equal to 45 degrees, what is the refractive index of that medium? They will ask. So from this one I can say sin C is equal to 1 by n. N is equal, C is equal to sin inverse of 1 by n, or n is equal to what I can say? C is equal to sin inverse of 1 by n is there. From this I can write sin C is equal to, bring the sin inverse to this side, then sin C is equal to 1 by n, or n is equal to 1 by sin C. N is equal to what? 1 by sin C. If critical angle is equal to 45 degrees, what is the refractive index of that medium? N is equal to 1 by sin 45. Sin 45 value is how much? Sin 45 is equal to how much? 1 by root 2. Therefore, 1 divided by 1 by root 2, that is equal to root 2, which is equal to 1.414. Or in a reverse way, they will ask, if the refractive index of the medium is equal to 1.414, what is the critical angle for that pair of medium? 45 degrees. Is it clear? If the critical angle is equal to 30 degrees, what is the refractive index of that medium? N is equal to, we know, 1 by sin C. Critical angle is given as 30 degrees, then 1 by sin 30. Sin 30 is 1 by 2, 1 divided by 1 by 2. 2 goes up, therefore the answer is 2. Refractive index is 2. If refractive index is 2, critical angle is 30, or when critical angle is equal to 30 degrees, refractive index is equal to 2. Understood this point clearly? So this formula is much useful for your competitive and 2-mark problems. Knowing the critical angle, we can find the refractive index, or knowing the refractive index, we can find the critical angle. Understood this? Next is about the total internal reflection phenomenon. So please remember this formula. N is equal to 1 by sin C, and C is equal to sin inverse of NR divided by ND. Okay. Based on this, definitely you will be having the problems in the 2 marks or in the CET standard examination. And next is about the total internal reflection phenomenon. In order to understand the total internal reflection phenomenon, I am going to take the same figure once again. So in this figure, previous figure, what we understood, when the angle of incidence is more than critical angle, what is going to happen? When the angle of incidence is more than critical angle, what is happening from the figure? From the figure, it is clear that for angle more than critical angle, here I3 greater than I means I3 greater than C. If angle of incidence is greater than critical angle, what happened? There is no refraction. the light ray is completely reflected. So totally reflected here. For what angles it is totally reflected? It is reflected for angles more than critical angle. Okay. Then what is total internal reflection phenomenon? Total internal reflection is the optical phenomenon in which when light ray is traveling from denser medium to the rarer medium, and if the angle of incidence is greater than critical angle, the light ray is completely reflected into the same medium. This phenomenon is said to be total internal reflection. What is total internal reflection? It is the optical phenomenon in which when a light ray is traveling from denser medium to the rarer medium, and if the angle of incidence is greater than critical angle, the light ray is completely reflected into the same medium. This phenomenon is said to be total internal reflection phenomenon. Then is there any use of this total internal reflection phenomenon? Means, yes, there are some applications based on this total internal reflection phenomenon. That's why we need to understand about this TIR phenomenon. So we are having some optical illusions like mirage. Mirage is an optical illusion caused by total internal reflection phenomenon. Looming is also another optical illusion caused by total internal reflection phenomenon. So mirage and looming, mirage, M-I-R-A-G-E, mirage and looming, these are the optical illusions caused by TIR phenomenon. So mirage will be noticed in the hot summer season, whereas looming will be noticed in the winter season in cold countries. This can be seen in the hot countries and this can be noticed in the cold countries. What is mirage then? Mirage is nothing but sometimes when you are walking on a tar road on a hot summer season, when you are walking on a tar road at far away distance, we will feel the presence of water pool. But when you go to that point, then no water will be available. So it is completely an optical illusion. It is our feeling. The light is making us fools. When you are walking along the tar road on hot summer season, at far away distance, you will feel the presence of water. But by the time when you reach that point, you can't notice any kind of water there. So that means what happened? We are made fools by whom? By the light. So this is called as optical illusion. Sometimes our own eyes will make us fools. So such things are nothing but optical illusions. So here looming is also the same kind of effect, but it is noticed in the winter season in the cold countries. Okay. In detail, I will tell you how mirage and looming will be noticed based on the total internal reflection phenomenon. And you will be having the diamond. When you are observing the diamond is sparkling. The sparkling or the glittering nature will be there for the diamond because of which phenomenon means because of the total internal reflection phenomenon only. Not only that, we are having some special kind of prisms called totally reflecting prisms. In those prisms, we are using the phenomenon called TIR. The total reflecting prisms will work on dash principle, means they will work on total internal reflection phenomenon. So in the nature, we will be observing the rainbow. Rainbow is because of which phenomenon? Rainbow is because of which phenomenon? You may answer the question, my question as because of TIR, but it is not the complete answer. It is a part of the answer. Rainbow is because of the involvement of refraction, dispersion and total internal reflection. So for the rainbow to be noticed, not only total internal reflection should be there, there must be dispersion, there must be refraction also. So we will discuss about this rainbow in the next coming classes, but remember that for the formation of rainbow, even total internal reflection is also involved. So, and not only that, we are having sometimes if you take a test tube, the test tube is taken and the test tube is filled with water. The walls of the test tube will be shining when it is kept in the sunlight. That is because of total internal reflection phenomenon. So because of total internal reflection, we will be having so many phenomenons that are noticing in and around. So the glittering of diamond is because of TIR. The total reflecting prisms will work on total internal reflection phenomenon. Mirage and looming are the optical illusion caused by the total internal reflection. And the most advantageous application based on this total internal reflection is optical fibers. Optical fibers. I will tell you in the next class what is meant by an optical fiber and how it works. But that optical fiber is the one which is used in the communication system, and it works on the principle of total internal reflection phenomenon. Optical fiber cables will work on which principle? Total internal reflection phenomenon, and for the fastest communication we can use the optical fiber cables. Okay. Then what is total internal reflection? Total internal reflection is an optical phenomenon, first thing, and this is an optical phenomenon that is noticed when light is traveling from which medium to which medium? When light is traveling from denser medium to rarer medium. And when does we can notice the total internal reflection? We can notice the total internal reflection only for angles greater than critical angles. For less than critical angle, there is no reflection, there is only refraction. So for angles less than critical angle, we will have refraction, and for angles more than critical angle, we will have reflection. So the optical phenomenon in which when light is traveling from denser medium to the rarer medium, then the angle of incidence, if it is greater than critical angle, the light is completely reflected into the same medium. This phenomenon, this is called as TIR, or total internal reflection. And we are having some advantages of this total internal reflection. What are the advantages? The shiny appearance of the test tube